Hello YouTube, it's Daquita Carver. It's been a long time since I did a recording, but I'm here. I'm back today. So it's been a long time. So I have a lot of information I want to share with you today. Pay close attention. This is going to be something that I really never um, I, I kind of touched on. I'm going to give you a lot of truth today, a lot in terms of, especially what's happening in my case. I'm going to go a little bit deeper and share some information with you. I talked about before how I'm in the process of writing a book, and a lot of things are being revealed as I move forward in the writing of that book that is so revealing and so forthcoming with information that I didn't even realize was actually there. But all you have to do is whenever you're in a dark place and you're just searching for answers, just take a step back and step back. And when I say step back, it's like step into yourself and actually look and see what yourself, what your own self is telling you and showing you through the words you speak or through the words that you write or transcribe on paper. I keep a journal. You all know I keep a journal too. I've mentioned that in some of my other audios. So it's just all about just trying to find trying to find out what's the root cause of the things that you're experiencing. Because I'm experiencing a lot and it hasn't lifted. And so now I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go into this. I'm gonna share some things with you, and this is something that you need to really be aware of that's happening right now. First off, we're on a prison planet. This planet is a simulated reality. This planet is a simulation of the true. It is a copy of the true. I don't know if you ever heard of these. I'm going to be speaking some things that sound far off. But we know that we're coming into a lot of truth in these last and final days. We know that we're coming into new knowledge, new revelation, and we're not the only beings that are present on this planet. In fact, there are other realities, there are other realms of existence, realms of the true existence, realms that have no space, and we're on this. We're in a parallel world, pretty much. A prison reality, a reality or a prison planet that belongs to who? The powers and principalities. It's written in a book. One thing I said about the Bible before we get started, I'm going to tell you how this translates into my life. But when I looked at the Bible before, I always said to myself, I said, why does the Bible only talk about the earth? In the beginning, in Genesis, we see that God formed the earth and saw that it was out without void and so forth. But I always wondered, like, why there's so many different other planets? Why doesn't he talk about the other planets? But he only really refers to the earth, planet earth. And so, and I look at that and I realize that we're bigger than the earth. Like the world consists of just the earth, but the earth is ran by who? Powers and principalities, because it's very clear of that in the book of Ephesians, that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places. So rulers of this darkness. So we live in a dark world, a world that has closed our eyes from a spiritual perspective. So um, so that being said, I'm sorry, my computer, I just looked at something on the computer, something happened, and I'm realizing as I left on here. But so I mean, if you could just visualize this, you visualize a Earth, okay? Visualize this, and you hear about the Earth being flat around. I don't know what the relevance really is in reference to that. It's all landscape. It's just basically a picture that basically comes to life. But if you look at the Earth being round, and you look at another earth, but right beside it, you see the truth and you see the lie. Okay, the lie that is being ran by powers and principalities. This is the prison system that we live in. The prison being the flesh, the prison being our skin. Our spirit is trapped inside of the skin, and there's powers that prevent that spirit from breaking out. Why? Because then you become God. You become this God, and you become like them, like the powers and principalities that are running this world. So, and that's what they don't want you to realize. So I say this to say, this is part of my reality. This is part of what I'm experiencing right now. I have knowledge of that, and this is my battle right now. Some of us have knowledge that is poured out to them. A lot of you have poured out some things to me and I wasn't there yet. my knowledge comes more so in a broad, like I get broad knowledge and I don't know like the little insights. You know how you get like a large perspective. Okay, you're on a prison planet. Okay, but what's the little points that lead up to that? See, I don't have that kind of insight. Whereas you may get those pieces, but I just had this big, this big umbrella of information that we're on a prison planet. And it's like, okay, what are you on a prison planet? So what? And then you get like little pieces as to things that are happening to you. They all tie in some way or another, but I'm not really sure how they all tell a story. I'm not saying that any of your experiences have been false or anything like that, but I can tell you that my experiences have been very, very harsh, and I think I have a higher calling than a lot of you. And with that, the attacks are very atrocious and very abrasive. They are very violently orchestrated. I'm getting all hit with all types of weapons. You know, for those of you who don't know me, those of you who haven't watched my videos, this is me warring against the Illuminati, and I'm going to put that out there. I'm not joining. I'm not participating to join in the Illuminati, and this is the attack that I'm experiencing. I refuse to participate in any dealings with the Illuminati, with these powers and principalities, joining in any of their affiliations. Why? Because I believe that I'm set apart from them. I believe that I'm here for a specific person. I always felt that I did not belong here. Not to say that I didn't belong on earth, but I did not belong in America. America has secretly hidden me and murdered me over and over and over and over again. This nation, my persecution is unlike anybody else's. I am isolated. I'm going to share some information with you, some very personal information with you. I've never shared this before with you, and I'm very compelled to share it with you today because I have to. I feel like I'm in a battle for my life. Okay, in a sense, I'm like looking to live my life, and they refuse to let me live my life unless I live my life with them, and it's not going to happen. I have no interest, and this is where people have to stand up and stand up to these powers, because we're seeing a lot of people are being misled and they're being forced to participate in these societies because they feel like they don't have any other outlet. And to be honest with you, I have nothing right now. They've taken everything. I'm a registered nurse. And I cannot get it. It's as if I'm dead. Literally as if I'm dead in America. It's literally like they killed me. No record. I don't get any mail unless it's junk mail. I get absolutely nothing. They have literally taken me. It's like they literally taken me off the face of the earth. Like they stole my identity for someone else to wear and parade around. And they do this. Witches and high powers basically push you underwater, and they rise above and they assume your identity. They assume your identity, and they walk as if they're you in another place, in another dimension, and they become you because they killed you. They killed you even though you're dead. You don't look like you're dead, but the whole goal is for you to die. And they killed Jesus. And a lot of us are walking around here. They stole Jesus' identity. The whole twin system, when they refer to the twins, is basically Jesus. Jesus as a ghost, as being dead, and Jesus that comes from above. Jesus came from above, and then the Illuminati. We know that the devil recreates everything that God does, everything that the truth does. A lie wants to emulate, and so that's what happened. They created their own Jesus, and they had the one being the both, if that makes any sense. So it's really nothing but a wheat and the tear. It's really the wheat and the tear. But they basically butchered and murdered and murdered and murdered. And guess who this is? This is Israel. Israel, in case you don't know, you murdered the Savior. You murdered Jesus. And I want you to really understand that. Israel is involved in the occult. You have traded out and when you get into this whole secret society, and you say, oh, you snitching, and no. You have to understand something. Anybody that sells out your brother, anybody who sells out your brother and forms an attack against your brother because you're jealous or because you're envious of whatever it is that they possess, you have to reevaluate yourself. You have to look within yourself. But I'm going to tell you something, and this is the absolute truth. Israel murdered Jesus. Israel murdered Jesus. And you don't believe it? Research it. Look in your Bible. It is Israel that murdered Jesus. Israel are the Pharisees. They were the Pharisees. They were the Pharisees. They joined in these occults, and and that's why Jesus said, "Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing." You murdered. He got murdered. He was not accepted in his own place by his own people. He said that Jesus was not accepted by his own people. His own people murdered him and nailed him to the cross. And so I stand here today to say that, it was an identity thing with Jesus. They took his identity. Israel took the Savior's identity. Israel took his identity. They basically butchered him and nailed him to the cross. They butchered him, meaning they took out his eyes, cut off his ears, they stole his garments, they took all of his gifts, from him and became him, assumed his identity. If you remember what Jesus said, many will come in my name saying that I am the Christ. Many will come in his name because they stole his identity. They stole his identity. They stole his identity, and then they want him to save them. They want him to save them at the same time. So my story has to do with that, and I can say I am Jesus, and I'll say that right here. And America has hidden a light that is so true. They have hidden a light that is so true. A lot of you, 144,000. Some of you already, know exactly what this means. Some of you already has went to the occult. Some of you are under attack the same way I was, and you have fallen into their system. So you're probably not persecuted anymore. You're probably not. So of course your targeting has gone away because you fell for the lie. You went for the lie. You went to the occult, and you're part of the murdering campaign now. So what that means is you have a decision to make. Everybody has a choice to make in this life, in this world. You have a decision to make, and some people can't take the pressure of being persecuted or slandered and smeared and so forth, and they choose the alternative. Well, the alternative is just making you now the victimizer. So now you're not killing. Okay, you're not getting killed, but you're killing somebody else. So it's just like a matter of, do you want to be the problem or do you want to be the solution? So it's just certain things that we have to decide. Or do you want to be the one to get your relief now, or do you want to get your disaster later? So just because you feel like you're being safe under this umbrella of the occult, you're not safe. You're not safe. You basically murdered. Okay, you murdered a sovereign God. You murdered somebody over and over and over, and you're not safe. You're not going to be safe because you're safe right now. But when when it comes down, you're going to be destroyed. You're going to be basically destroyed because you, as his people, have destroyed him. America has murdered and murdered, and I'll speak for myself. They have murdered and murdered me over and over. They have hidden me. They have interfered with every aspect of my life. Every aspect of my life. All I wanted to do was live. All I wanted to do is do what I do what I've been doing. I've always minded my own business. I've never been in trouble with the law. I've always done my own thing, and I realized that I'm talented. Later in life, I had to realize I had all of these gifts, and I had no idea. But these gifts were being used all my life by another force, by another power that was in me that is not of God. And I'll be honest with you. I was and still am a part of MK Ultra. Okay, MK Ultra is a very hard program to break. It is very hard to break, and I did get saved. But we have to look at who's saving in our churches now. The church has been given over to the enemy. So have you really been saved? Have you really received the Savior? Have you really? These are the questions that we have to ask, because this attack is not like anything that's in the Bible. This attack is something very, very. This is something like we ain't never seen before. I'm sorry, nothing that I've never seen before. And I was aggressive in my prayer. I can pray, and I can really. This is something invisible. Some people said, "Oh, it's you versus you." Everybody's going through this. Women are going through this. The person in the mirror, and all of these things. No. It's you versus you, but that you is not you. If you know what I mean. That you is a copy of you with somebody else's genetics inside of them that looks like you. It's not you. So it's not the dark you, because you get along with you. And I want you to really picture. I want you to really go there with me and really hear what I have to say. Hear me out here. This is not foreign. This is not something that is totally impossible. A lot of people are coming into realization that this is going on, and people are being killed behind this. But this is. I recognize that my battle is with these powers. My battle is with the Illuminati. Okay, I'm not joining, and so now I have to be slandered, and now I have to be persecuted and taken out of and forced to live in poverty. Okay, this is what they're doing to me right now. They're trying to destroy my life in America. Okay, because I made a choice to what? I made a choice to say no. I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust in myself. I'm going to walk in the way that I know. I'm going to hold on to my integrity. I'm going to hold on to my integrity. I'm going to do what I believe is right, what I was raised up to do. I understand that I'm not from here, and I've always understood that as a little child, and I'm going to get into that. But this you versus you thing is all wrong, because when you look at it, that you is so evil. It's an evil I can't. I try to love it. I try, because I'm like, oh, it's me. And I just can't recognize it. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything as dark as it. It's like a spirit that is so tormenting that I myself am like baffled. Like I'm like, and I can pray for my enemies. I can heal my enemies. I can love my enemies, and I've done that. I pray for America. But this is something that is gripping, something that is suffocating, something that is very dark, something that is using false love. It's false love. It's never fulfilled. It wants to keep getting fed love. And their idea of love is not the love. It's perverted love. It's a perverted love. And it's consuming, it's energy seeking, and it steals all of your energy. And it doesn't like you. I don't care what you do, it does not like you. Why? Because it wants to be you. It wants to take your identity. It wants the things that you want. It wants everything that you aspire to be, every dream that you dream to be. It wants you. It wants to become you. And this thing is constantly around to what? This presence of darkness is to what? Study you. To study you and take over your identity. Because it hates you. So it's not the real, it's not you. So don't let anybody lie to you and say oh, that's you. That's a clone, okay, with somebody else's DNA put into them. That's not your DNA. That has nothing to do with you. They just see you as the angelic being that you are, the saint that you are, the called out that is not from this world, that they latch on to and suck up. They literally suck up all the energy out of you, all of the love out of you. They try to turn you into this monster. They try to turn you into this hateful thing, like they are. And no matter how you try to love it, and you try to understand it, and you try to feel some sort of sympathy for it. When you do that, it doesn't matter. It takes it accepts it, and takes your energy. And then it comes back in about 10 more minutes, because it's never fulfilled. This is something that is never fulfilled. This power or this dark force is something that is never fulfilled. It continues to come and grip you. They don't want you to see any light. They want to become you. They want to act like they're doing all of the things. They want to act like they're doing the healing. They're doing the deliverance with your face. They're doing all of these things with your face while you're underwater, buried, or out in floating in space somewhere. They assume your life. They assume your identity. They study you. This is what, we go onto Facebook and all of these different things. And these are alien beings. This is what's taking over right now. This is what's taking over right now. And we're in for a world of trouble. America is in for a world of trouble because they're not addressing this. This is not being addressed. This is not being spoken about. This is a very serious problem in this nation, and this nation is going to fall as a result of that, because this is a wicked power. If you watch the movies nowadays, they don't want you to love. They don't want you to, their love is perverted. It's comforting. Their form of comfort is sex. Their form of comfort is, put a Band-Aid on it. Meanwhile, you got this big wound that's inside of you that you need to pull that Band-Aid off and let that wound dehiss and heal, and let that stuff ooze out, as opposed to putting a Band-Aid over it. So you're walking around with all these Band-Aids on, and they comfort you by gratification, by soothing your sexual organs. And that's not healing. It's not healing. There's nothing godly about that. I'm going to share a couple of things with you, because I'm going through something and I'm trying to get out of this country, and I need your help. like I said, I'm a registered nurse. You can look at me up on Georgia, the board of nurses in the state of Georgia. I can't work. They won't give me a job here. I have 20 years of nursing experience. I have always been highly regarded as a registered nurse. Always, kind of my employers loved me. They always wanted me to lead, and they always sought me out to do things, projects, and so forth. And right now, I can't get a job. This country has literally closed its doors on me because of the truth that is within me, because it's something of me that they can't change. They can't control it. They can't control me. They are unable to control me. So what do? And I won't join them. So what do? They hide me. They hide me and basically blacklist me from this country. So my whole thing is I want out of this country. I need a way to finance me out of this country. I want out of this country ASAP. So I'm asking for emergency help. I'm asking for emergency help. Any help that you can to donate to this ministry. My P.O. Box, I'm Daquita Carver, Daquita Carver, DK. My P.O. Box is the Day of the Lord Ministry, P.O. Box 777, and that's in Conyers, Georgia, 30013. And if you could send anything, donations, please, to that P.O. Box, certified mail, and please let me know that you sent it. That again is the Day of the Lord Ministry, P.O. Box 777, Conyers, Georgia, 30013. You know, those of you who have watched my show understand that. And there's just some things that we have to say no. And there has to be some people that stand up to this barbaric society that thinks that they can force you into something that you don't want to do. And we have to stand up to that and be able to say, no, it's not my calling. And, it may be all right for you. Perhaps it's okay for you, but for me, it's not for me. I know what they've done. They sacrificed Jesus. So I'm not sure if I would want to, me personally, I wouldn't want to be affiliated with anything that did that. So I'm going to share a couple things with you and just to prove that I'm not making any of this up. I'm not making any of this up. You have people that are hitting. I'm not the only one. I think the whole Me Too movement is something similar to what I'm experiencing, but not quite. But the other thing I wanted to point out is it almost as it feels like there's like no help. Like you have to go with it. It's like you're trapped into a matrix of and it's funny because some of the songs that I shared with you before about Lauryn Hill, I get out of your boxes. You can't hold me in these chains, because that's literally what it feels like. And I'm going to give you an illustration as to something that's happening. And you can just picture it. Excuse me, it's a little flea right there. But if you can just picture with me, let's just say I'll use a dog, for example. Draw a picture of a dog. You have a dog, a little strong dog, and this dog got all these different things inside of him. All these different cells, these different souls that are trapped inside of this dog. This dog is like a boat. Okay, let's look at the dog as a boat, something like that. And you got all of these different things inside of this dog. Other souls and so forth inside of this dog. And then you have the powers and principality that has this dog on a leash. They have this dog on a leash. And they have this dog, and there's other powers up there that have strings on the dog. So there's strings all over this dog, okay? And there's souls that are in there. These souls are in there, enjoying themselves, eating, drinking, getting married, and things like that. And this dog is like the guard. This dog is whoa. This dog is like exhausted, and this boat. This ship is like getting hit with everything, and it's being pulled like go this way, and then just to shake what's up inside of them. Okay, so the dog is being controlled and manipulated to destruct what's inside of them. Okay, to destruct whatever is going on inside of the dog. So it's not the dog trying to destroy what's inside of them. It's these things that are yanking the dog and pulling the dog, and the dog and all these forces around the dog breathing their breath, their nasty breath, that these smells and all of these illusions and all of these. Just picture that, and they're hitting the dog with all these different chemicals and trying to get the dog sick, and the dog head is getting attacked by all of these different pains and all of these different sensations and everything, and it's causing disruption to the process, whatever internal process is happening on the inside. And it looks as if the dog is doing it. Right? Like, what are you doing to us? What are you doing to us? No, there's power, there's forces outside that are causing this reaction, that are causing this disgruntled, because we remembered about the whole shepherd, the shepherd that keeps the flock. Well, if they take off the head of the shepherd, then the flock could get scattered. So that's the whole purpose of this whole thing, is to scatter the flock. So if you can cut off the head of the shepherd, then you can scatter the flock. But it looks like the shepherd is the one who did it. You know, it looks like the shepherd is the one who did it, when the shepherd was just trying to do the right thing and do, you know, lift you up. But why? Meanwhile, the shepherd is like, why should I have to do all of this when they're getting married and I'm isolated? When you're isolated, right? You're isolated and you're single, and you look to take all this hate, this hatred they want you to hate, so you can teach what's in you to hate, right? It's all about teaching. So they try to feed you with all of this hate, the external environment, so that you feed all of this hate to what's growing and developing inside of you. But that's not who you are. And they can't control that. And so that's why they take you out of the world, because they're trying to control and raise a seed to be wicked. They want a seed to be wicked and want a seed to be hateful and want a seed to know false love. They don't want you to know true love, because true love is power. True love is power. True love is healing. True love is peace. And, you know, they try to take that away from me. America is trying to take away my peace. And I say America because they're conducting all of these military attacks. They're using their military attacks to attack its civilians. They're using all of these different attacks, all these different chemical attacks. They're allowing their elite powers to attack its civilians using the military's might. Using the military's might. Meanwhile, you got North Korea that's going to destroy North Korea is going to destroy America. Why? Because America's busy killing off its civilians. They're killing their civilians while North Korea is armored up and ready to invade. While America is killing off people. You don't need to be killing people right now. You don't need to be killing. You need all the people you can get right now, because you're on the verge of imminent attack by a power that you cannot defeat. Kim Jong-un. I don't know if you've seen his military. They ain't playing. Let me just tell you that. But I'm gonna read this poetry. I want to read this poetry. It's called "I Made It." I wrote this. This is "I Made It." I made it while the world mocked and laughed at me, forgetting that I was the one who created. They celebrated my misery, but they had no idea that witnesses were inside of me. Snares were laid for me, trapping me inside of a matrix that didn't behave for me. But I made it. When I fell, there was no angel to save me. He found someone else, and this world made a slave of me. I made it. My white turned black, dusty and faded. My name used to be Glory, but that name ended up being hated. They stole my identity and said that sin was because of me. They took bites of my head. They took bites of my bread, but I had that power that saved me. I made it. Falling out of skies, dying thousands of times, knocking the teeth out of lions, locusts eating my insides. I made it. He called me old, said there was the new, but his memory must have been messed up too, because old made the new. Now they doing what I used to do. I made it. Laugh now. So that's my celebration to myself, because I know that I made it. Ultimately, I know that we live in a time right now where I'm in my past. I understand that this is the past. This is not my current state. We are on a timed world. We are in a time dimension, a dimension that is timed versus a dimension that is free of time and space, that is the real time, that is real, that has no time and space. We're over in that dimension, in the parallel universe, the parallel of truth. Things are the real deal. You form your own dreams and so forth. You become what you envision that you become. And, I believe in all of that. I believe in all of that. And they see the power of my mind. My mind is beautiful. My mind, my creativity is awesome. There's things that are inside of me that I never knew that were there, that I never knew existed. And, I consider myself a sovereign. I'm my own leader. I'm my own spokesperson. I'm my own, I pull myself up out of these times of struggle because I see myself as the strength of myself. There's strength inside of me. And I've overcome some very dark times, some very, very dark times where I'd be ready to give up. But it's just like that inside of me. And that's why I know it's not me, because I love me. And it's like, Quita, we got to, get up, get up. We're not laying down. We're not taking this. We're not lying down. We're going to get up and we're going to persevere and we're going to go out here and do what we need to do. Why? Because you're not trying to be a troublemaker. You're just trying to live your life. You just want your life. And nobody's going to tell me that I have to join this in order to live my life. Because I just don't believe that. I don't believe that to be true. That's not my life. That's not my world. But I'm going to share something to you that happened to me. I shared this before to my family, and this is why I want to get out of here. Because even when your family starts attacking you, and when they start gaslighting you to make you think you're crazy, to make you think you're crazy and you got a psychological problem, and they bring other people in to get on this because they're in the society and they're scared and they're terrified. And it's just like, I'm fearless. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to live. You're not going to kill me. Either you kill me or I'm living. That's it. There's no other option. You're going to either kill me or I'm going to live. But we already know that you tried to kill me and it didn't work. We already know that you killed me over and over and over silently and it didn't work and it won't work. So this is the way, this is my standpoint right now. It's like, I'm going to live, and I'm going to live, and I'm going to be happy living. I'm going to be happy living. I'm going to be successful living. And this is my, this is what I'm going to do. There's no other alternative to that. So, my family took me, my mother, and I had some very, very harsh betrayals. I had some betrayals of some people I really looked, I'm baffled. I'm not going to lie. I'm totally baffled at the level of betrayal that I received from people that I trusted. It's different if it was somebody in the street, somebody, a viewer or something, but these are my family members, friends, ex-husband, it's just shocking. But I got put into a hospital because at one point I was fasting. I've shared that all with you. I was fasting a lot, and I got so thin, and they took me. The family came from out of town, and they said, "Oh," and I'm like, "What are you doing? What y'all doing here?" Nobody told me that they were coming, and they were coming to put me in the hospital. So they were coming to force me to go into the hospital. So they forced me to go into the hospital. I'm a registered nurse. They know they couldn't keep me. They can't keep me. I don't understand. Even my father, who tries to gaslight me, even says, nobody can keep up with you, and then you can't try to convince me to do anything. My no is my no, and my yes is my yes. But this thing is funny because they put me into the hospital, and the doctors and nurses knew they couldn't keep me there. But just to be cooperative, I just went ahead and let them. I just said, I'll stay, just to get away from them. I'll stay. That was my little escape time, my flight time. So I got away from them. Meanwhile, I'm there. I'm walking around with a 33 blood sugar. I'm walking around. Listen, I have so many attacks that come against me. Astral attacks from witches, curses, all these different attacks. I'm still walking. I still jog. I still stay in shape. I have all these things coming against me. I'm still alive, still sound. And I will be. I will be sound. I will be sound, and I will be attacked. You have no idea what I've been through. None. No idea what I've been through in terms of all of the attacks that have come against me, to be still standing, to still be able to articulate everything that has happened in terms of my experience, my testimony, and so forth. And to still be here today, to be able to share it with that and motivate others who are going through this, and letting you know that you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to accept a lower standard, because guess what? This is why you stand out, because you said no. You are different than everybody. This is why you're different than everybody else, because you actually stood for something. You actually said no. And I'm not saying that those who have said yes you're done. I'm not saying that, so don't look at it as that. It's just that somebody has to say no. Somebody has to be a pioneer, a leader, and say, look, no, this is not the way that my life is going to end up. I've heard the stories as to how this goes, and I don't want anybody having power over my life. I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to take my risk. I'm just going to take why? Because I believe in me. I believe in myself. I believe that if that's what I was supposed to do. I would already be in it. But I'm walking around with blood sugars of 33. If anybody who saw me when I made that video, when all of you who watched me before, when I came out on here asking for help, asking for prayers, when my temples were sunken in, my fontanelles were sunken in, I looked horrible. Okay, that was me humbling myself, me coming out. Listen, I have no problem. I have no problem sharing what I go through. And I came out and I said, look, and I looked horrible. I looked just like death. And if I still came on YouTube, and my mother asked me to put that video down, but there is a video that was right after that. We could tell that I was very emaciated. But I came on YouTube and I shared what I was going through, and I had never had so much support in my life in terms of being isolated. But my family has totally buried me. The people who I believed would understand what I'm going through, they sold out. And it's like, you know, and it's just like, how could you ever trust them in your space? And it's just like, you know, I prayed about this over and over. God, move me from this place. I need to get out of this place. This place does not want to go where I want to go. This place, I'm in the enemy's camp. Move me out of this place. Move me out of, and I prayed and prayed since 2016. But this is, I'm going to play a clip to you of when they put me in the hospital and I got out, when I came out of the hospital. And my aunt, they were so angry that I got out of the hospital. Because the doctors couldn't keep me there. They couldn't keep me there. In fact, I think they were perplexed at everything that was going on. You know, walking around with 33 blood sugar and still alert and coherent, where they just couldn't understand what the, you know, the hell was going on. You know, it's like kind of like people, well, they don't want to be bothered with it. You know, it's just kind of like, you know, something ain't right. You know, something. And we just don't want no. You can get a feeling with some people, and he's like, okay, something is very peculiar here that we don't want to be part of. But I got out of the hospital, and they were very upset. And I remember my aunt was so enraged that she was going to beat me up. And I'm so thin, and I'm so weak, and I'm in the back of my mother's car. And my mother is allowing her. I'm sorry. I'm going to play it because nobody would ever believe what I'm going through, because I come out here and I look like, oh, I look so, you know, like I'm living life, and it's not that. It's not that at all. It's not that. But I'm going to play this. I hope you can hear it.
This is the way she do it. Oh, I know. You ain't give a fuck about her. Ain't gonna get my motherfucking sister broke behind you. Give me that mother.
I had a mask on my face.
Get off of me, Don. Get off of you, bitch. I don't give a fuck. Get off of me, Don. Get off, guy, and pull over. I'm fucking her up. Pull over. I'm gonna whoop this bitch ass. Pull over. I'ma fuck this hoe up. Put that mask on. I'ma punch you in your motherfucking face, bitch. I'm sick of this shit. You can't whoop this ass and you scratch me again. I'ma fuck you up. Fucking masses and spit. I'm sick of that shit. Girl, it's been like this. A motherfucking mask. I got your mask, bitch. The mask is for the black people and the devils that's in her house that she put there. Hey, Reed, what the fuck you doing now? Yep.
So nobody would ever believe that. Nobody would ever believe that I've been through that. But they spoke about the devils and me conjuring up devils, which is totally false. This is part of the, this is part of your oath. I'm going to just say this to you. This is part of your oath. You basically signed up with a lie. Anytime you take part of these societies that you're part of, you worship a different God. You worship a different God, and you have a different doctrine, and you believe in a different God. And they're under that darkness. And their God is not the God that I serve, obviously. So I'm going to look as the enemy. You know, they turn everything around. And you can look at the book of Isaiah. But that was her threatening me, and I'm in a very vulnerable state, very thin and emaciated, coming out of the hospital, and you know, referring to me as hoes. we all have these altars that are being done by, you know, as an MK Ultra. We all have this dark side that they've created, that the powers created, the horrors and the sex demons that's attached to us. That has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me. And then this is what I'm hearing from people, and I'm just like, it's not me. It's not me. That's not me at all. So this is their darkness that they said. This is the cloud of darkness that they've been living under, and this is their belief system because they are part of an oath that is a lie, and that's all there is to it. So here is when you look at the book of Isaiah. And I'm looking at the book of Isaiah chapter 5. And if you go, and I'm just going to go to chapter 8. Woe to those who join house to house. They add field to field till there is no place where they may dwell alone in the midst of the land. In my hearing, the Lord of hosts said, truly, many houses shall be desolate, great and beautiful ones without inhabitant. Then I'm going to go down to you go down to 20, chapter 5, Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. It says, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So we are in a state of where they're reversing everything. Their doctrine supersedes everything. So what is right is wrong. What is right now is wrong. So if you're right and you're righteous, you're absolutely unrighteous. And they find some sort of way to condemn you and ostracize you and basically annihilate you in this the complete onslaught of my life. The continuous sacrificing of the Quita Carva, as you can call it. To their satanic altar. So her referring to me as bringing spirits in, there probably are spirits attached to me through MK Ultra, through living in this world in which I am an angelic being. I am an angelic being. And I realize that, you know, part of a higher calling, a higher place that is not mentioned, that is not really spoken about in this Bible. This Bible belongs to the world. This Bible is specific to the earth. Okay? This Bible is specific to the earth. You have in the book of Proverbs. If you go to Proverbs, okay, Proverbs chapter 8, when we talk about wisdom, sorry, the computer just went out all of a sudden. You're talking about the book of Proverbs, where we have wisdom. I'm looking at chapter 8. It says 32, verse 32. Now therefore listen to me, my children, for blessed are those who keep my ways, hear instruction and be wise, and do not disdain it. Blessed is the man who listens to me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the posts of my doors. For whoever finds me finds life, and obtains favor from the Lord. But whoever sins against me wrongs his own soul. All those who hate me love death. This doesn't sound like God. I'm just putting it out there. I shared, this is something else. This is the wisdom of the world. The wisdom of the world and the wisdom that has the revenue, because riches are with her. And she gives it to those who love her. So you decide what that looks like. Read Proverbs 8. Those of you who have eyes to see and ears to hear, read Proverbs 8. And you can look at Isaiah chapter 6. And I told you who that is. That throne of Isaiah chapter 6 is the throne of the devil. 666. Isaiah chapter, and I'm going to go over it again with you. Isaiah chapter 6. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on the throne, high and lifted up. And the Lord, in the train of his robe, filled the temple. Above it stood seraphim. Each one had 6 wings. The 2 he covered with his face, and 2 he covered his feet. And with 2 he flew. And he cried to another, saying, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. So this is 666. You know, we have six toes. He covered his feet. He covered his his hands. Because he had six toes. He had six fingers. Um, and it says in verse 4, and the posts of the door were shaken by the voice of him who cried out, and the house was filled with smoke. Somebody was on fire. This sounds like the realm of hell. This sounds like hell. Somebody was on fire. This throne is not the throne of God. This is the throne of the devil. And a blood sacrifice being, not a blood sacrifice, but a sacrifice of fire, or some burnt sacrifice was being done before the Lord. Somebody was on fire crying out why he's seeing another person. Just look at the vision. What is that? Somebody's being killed in front of the Lord. It's not God. This is not God. This is not God. So look at the Bible and really understand that there's some people that are who is just like me. Whoever's getting this just like me. This is not our world. This is not our world. I'm trying to get out of this country, and again, I ask you urgently for your help. I ask for any donations, anybody who's tuning into this, anybody who gets this and understands that this is really happening. I need help. I can't expect anybody to give me any help here. My P.O. box, my mailing box again is the Day of the Lord, P.O. Box 777, Conyers, Georgia 30013. And it should be certified, because they try to take my mail. They intercept my emails. They lie and say that they're the person. My phone doesn't even ring. Clone phone. Everything is, it's like I died. Literally, it's like I have died, and somebody else is assuming I'm walking in my shoes, trying to become me. And I know it's somebody out there that is totally relating to this and probably happy that I'm talking about it. So, please, if you get this, please, if you're in a position where you can donate, please donate. Please write. Again, I know I haven't made any videos lately. It's just that this has been very difficult on me, and I'm trying my best to be able to understand and pick myself up after coming out of this war that is, I don't think anybody's really speaking about. It's silent. It's silent, and you're closed in, and part of it is because you can't be controlled. They can't control you. So what they'll do is they can't control you, and you have a lot of power. There's a lot of power inside of you in terms of shaping the lives of people, in terms of gifts that you possess that are being used by them. A lot of times they want you to join because you have gifts that have been given to you that they're using, that you're not even using, that you don't even know that you had, because they've been using it. So you're just coming to all this knowledge that you have all of this stuff inside of you, and it's beautiful, and you are just beautiful. They said King David walked and he made music when he walked. He was making money when he walked. And that's the kind of person you are. And they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that's in you. And they use it for their own gain instead of you using it for yourself. And not me. I want to use it for myself. I want to help you. I want to help people, but I don't want to be able to let somebody else control my gift. I don't want my gift being controlled by a source that's trying to destroy me so that they can take the gift. It's things that I've done in my past lives that I'm aware of, that I've done in my past lives, and they try to erase your identity by all this memory repression and regression and keeping you in boxes and, in these cycles, and you're praying to get out, and you're praying and you're praying and praying, only to know it's like you're in a mouse or a hamster in a little thing, and you keep going around and around in circles until you realize, oh, they closed me in. How do you get out? Constantly putting you asleep. Because why? You got so much truth in you, and there's so much that you possess that they want access to, and they can't control you, and so they just try to take away, and they string little things. We'll give you this if you do this, if you do this, if you do this. You the Holy Grail, the Holy Grail, the holy, pure Grail. And I know I am. I know I am. And this is their attack on something that is holy. But I won't be afraid of this. I won't be afraid of this, and I will not budge on my decision. So I hope that this was very insightful for you, those who are watching, and never be afraid to stand your ground on something. If it's something you believe in, if it's something you strongly believe in, and you're passionate about the decision, and you can justify anything, stand up for yourself. Stand up for yourself, and it's just a matter of understanding how sick you look at your own people just stabbing you up, your own people just stabbing you in the back, and that is something that that hurts in itself. That's trauma in itself. Your own people, the people the people that you helped and that you transformed and that you spoke good about, and they're stabbing you in your back, and then they're crying over Jesus. It's like it's phony. It's phony to me. You killed them. You consciously, and I'm talking about people that consciously know what they're doing. Not the people that's still asleep and don't know, but the people that consciously know that they're killing Jesus. They're killing the light of the world. You're killing the light of the world, and you don't care. So, you don't care. You just want, and you're experiencing all His glory. You're experiencing all your high off of His blood. Off of His blood, you're high. Drunk and on His blood. Shame on you. Shame on you. I don't have any other words. Shalom.